everything you need to know about the Tragedy of Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 1. So we're going to be reading through Act 1, Scene 1, and I'll read it, and then we'll just discuss it a little bit. I got my book here ready to go. And the big picture of this is we are seeing on the Roman streets kind of like a holiday atmosphere where all of the general population was celebrating or getting ready to celebrate Caesar's victories in a war. So it was supposed to, it's a working day, and you have all of these commoners that are out and about celebrating. Now, if you've ever read like Romeo and Juliet, you know that at the beginning of that play, the servants were kind of the humorous aspect of the play. And at the beginning of the play, they were kind of like going back and forth and having this kind of argument, banter, trying to be funny. And so at the beginning of this play, you have commoners who Shakespeare uses as kind of the comic relief as well. And so there's kind of like this light atmosphere. And into this comes these two tribunes who are, have positions in the Roman government, who are upset and frustrated that people are celebrating Caesar because they do not like the power that he is gaining. And so that's the scene where we jump into here. Their names are Flavius and Marullus, and then there's commoners over the stage. So the big thing to think about in terms of these commoners is they're trying to be funny. And, in our day and age, we might not find much humor in it because there's a lot of puns and there's plays on words and things like that. So let's jump in and we'll see how that goes. Flavius comes in and says, "Hence home, you idle creatures, get you home. Is this a holiday? What? Know you not, being mechanical of the working class, you ought not walk upon a laboring day without the sign of your profession? Speak, what trade art thou?" So right away, he's jumping in their grill, and he is, getting in their face saying, hey, it's a working day. You shouldn't be out without kind of like your uniform on or whatever you would use for your trade so we can tell what you do. Why are you doing this instead of working? The carpenter, "Why, sir, a carpenter? Where is thy leather apron and thy rule? What dost thou with thy best apparel on? You, sir, what trade are you?" In other words, you shouldn't be out without your working clothes. "Truly, sir, in respect of a fine workman, I am but, as you would say, a cobbler." All right, so that's supposed to be funny because a cobbler is someone who mends shoes, but it also is a slang term then, which would mean that you're kind of clumsy and not a very good worker. So he's ambiguous here, right? He's not being super clear because he's using this word that means both things, which is why Marullus responds like this. "What trade art thou? Answer me directly." Cobbler, "A trade, sir, that I hope I may use with a safe conscience, which is indeed, sir, a mender of bad souls." S-O-L-E-S rather than S-O-U-L-S, right? So again, a play on words that he's trying to say, I help people with their souls. He's saying I'm a shoe repairman, but then again, he's being vague. "What trade, thou knave?" That means a rogue or a tricky rascal. "Thou naughty knave, what trade? Nay, I beseech." You're going to see beseech a lot. That means like I beg you. "Nay, I beseech you, sir, be not out with me. Yet if you be out, sir, I can mend you." Right? So again, a play on words. Be not out means don't be angry, don't be put out with me. But if you are out, and again, he means like you've blown out one of your shoes, you've worn out your shoes, I can mend you, right? And mend you means like I can improve how you feel, or I can fix your shoes. So play on words again, trying to be funny. Ha ha ha, right? Real kind of funny. "What meanst thou by that? Mend me, thou saucy fellow." "Why, sir, cobble you." "Oh, thou art a cobbler, art thou? Sir, truly, all that I live with is by the awl." So now you have a play on words, awl and awl. And awl is a tool that you work with leather. "I meddle with no tradesman's matters, nor women's matters, but withal I am indeed, sir, a surgeon to old shoes. When they are in great danger, I recover them." In other words, I fix and repair shoes. "As proper man as ever trod upon neat's leather, have gone upon my handiwork." So I fix all kinds of people's shoes. "But wherefore art thou not in thy shop today? Why dost thou lead these men about the streets?" "Truly, sir, to wear out those shoes." Ha ha. Again, I'm trying to get myself into more work by wearing out shoes, and that's why we're out here. Not really. To get myself into more work. "But indeed, sir, we make holiday to see Caesar and to rejoice in his triumph." Again, so they're having this victory celebration. Marullus gives this big old speech that he's ticked. "Wherefore rejoice? What conquest brings he home? What tributaries follow him to Rome captives? To grace and captive on his chariot wheels? You blocks, you stones, you worse than senseless things. Oh, you hard hearts, you cruel men of Rome, knew you not Pompey? All right, so basically you guys are heartless, you're cruel, you have no feelings. And he brings up Pompey, who was another consul who was at one point in alliance with Caesar, but when Caesar gained too much power, he aligned himself with the Senate, and Caesar ended up going into civil war with him and had eventually had him killed. So they had been recently celebrating Pompey many a time, and oft have you climbed up to the walls and battlements, to towers and windows, yea, to chimney tops, your infants in your arms, and there have sat the livelong day with patient expectation to see great Pompey pass the streets of Rome. So you used to go sit in the streets and just wait for him to show up so you could party down and celebrate his conquests, right? When you saw his chariot but appear, have you not made a universal shout that Tiber trembled underneath her banks to hear the replication of your sounds made in her concave shores? In other words, you cheered so loud it echoed on the river shore. All right. And now you put on your best attire, and now you cull out, meaning pick out or select a holiday. And do you now strew flowers in his way that comes in triumph over Pompey's blood? In other words, you're cheering for the guy that killed the guy that you were cheering for, you bunch of hypocrites. Be gone, run to your houses, fall upon your knees, pray to the gods to intermit the plague that needs must light on this ingratitude. In other words, you should be ashamed and punished for being such hypocritical fools. Flavius, go, good countrymen, and for this fault assemble the poor men of your sort, draw them to Tiber banks, and weep your tears into the channel, till the lowest stream do kiss the most exalted shores of all. So this is a hyperbole, which is a deliberate exaggeration, right? You guys should feel so guilty and so wrong in what you're doing. You should line up along the river and cry your tears to such an extent that you overflow the river. That's how bad you should feel. So all the commoners exit. See where their basis and metal, kind of their, the core of who they are, be not moved. They vanish tongue-tied in their guiltiness. So it worked. Go you down that way toward the Capitol. This way will I. Disrobe the images if you do find them decked with ceremonies. So Caesar would have had statues, and a lot of people had statues all over the city that, the famous and heroic people would have. And they would be celebrating, so they would decorate these statues. And so he's saying, go to Caesar's statues and pull off all the decorations. Marullus, may we do so? It's the Feast of Lupercal. So there is a Roman festival going on right now. It was February 15th, a month before his assassination. So they're like, can we still do that even though it's really a festival? Flavius says, it is no matter. Let no images be hung with Caesar's trophies. I'll be about and drive away the vulgar, the common people. In other words, I'm going to keep yelling at people from the streets. So do you too, where you perceive them thick. So we're going to keep doing this. These growing feathers plucked from Caesar's wing will make him fly an ordinary pitch. In other words, we're going to take these, it's like a metaphor for, Caesar's fame and power is like shown with these decorations. So if we pull these down, it's like pulling the feathers out of the wings of a hawk or an eagle so it can't fly as high. And so we're going to try to kind of lower Caesar's status here. Who else would soar above the view of men and keep us all in servile fearfulness? So as he gains power and prestige and grows higher in esteem, we are more like his prey and have to be fearful. So there it is, Act 1, Scene 1. Questions, comments down below.